I know you already mentioned some of the implications for practice, but if you don't mind just summarizing at least what your results mean for HR policy or the practice of HR.
Mm. So I guess that what's the really good news in our study? What our study shows is that many of the fundamental employment disadvantages of neurodivergent people can be very, very substantially mitigated by really quite generalized and simple organizational policy intervention. So we've all seen in the post-pandemic environment more flexible working, more home working, but also I think a lot more attention to different kinds of flexible working. Is this about flexi term time hours, for example, where you work around schools and university timetables and so on in terms of creating flexibility? Is it about annualized hours? Is it straightforward, good old-fashioned flexi working? All of these things, which are increasingly available to colleagues throughout, in many types of job and work environment, hold the real potential for being more inclusive for neurodivergent people, and yet they aren't available everywhere. So one of the key things I think we would see some great merit in is an extension of flexible and home working where that's appropriate and where that's possible. We see that as something that is beneficial for employees, but also beneficial for organizations. So what the broader question I think is, and this is a research agenda for us ultimately, is how policies and practices that are not specifically targeted exclusively or even at all towards neurodivergent people, how they deliver nonetheless benefits by conferring for those individuals with a capacity to have greater agency in their working life. And I think part of the generalized lesson of our study is that if you can put agency in the hands of employees, then that can be a significant part of what being a more inclusive workplace for colleagues with a range of different abilities and disabilities.